What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Now, before we start today, we're going to talk about some of the quick news, but I also want to give you guys a reminder. You're going to want to set up your plan if you're trying to get one of those NES Classics, because tomorrow, Friday the 29th, is when they will be back in stores. Nintendo keeps posting this up on their Twitter account, probably to remind people, saying, hey guys, you might want to figure out how you can call out sick, or where you can set up plans to wait in line if you need to, or I guess just go out and try to get one. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes down. But yes, keep in mind, guys, if you want to get one, make plans tonight going into tomorrow morning, because you're going to want to be at a lot of these stores, whether it's a Target, a Best Buy, a GameStop, a Walmart, probably when they open, or in Walmart's case, at midnight? I don't really know how that works with Walmart, but other places, when they open, you want to be there. I had good luck with the Super Nintendo Classic at Target, so if I was going to take a shot, I'd probably go to a bigger Target. That's just me. Now, with some other stuff that we had that went on yesterday, Murphy's Law, we talked about that yesterday in Newswave, and they were supposed to share news, and they really didn't. In fact, they just wanted us to vote on a poll for, I guess, the home screen icon, which, first of all, number one, obviously. Don't shut it down as number one, go with that. Second of all, we want to know actual information about what's going on with the game, so yeah, whenever you're good, I guess, picking out whatever you want the icon to look like, how about you tell us the date that's coming out, gameplay information, crossplay, voice chat, any of that stuff, because that's what we actually want to know. You know, I mean, we can live with a home screen icon. How about we actually get some information about, you know, the game? Also, in an interesting turn of events, PUBG has now dropped the lawsuit that they had against Fortnite. Do you remember how they kind of put a lawsuit against Fortnite talking about copyright infringement or whatnot? They basically were trying to stop Fortnite because Fortnite's success was massive and it's been doing nothing but skyrocketing. They're putting it on everything. They're optimizing it like crazy. 60 frames per second mode. They're doing a lot of creative things. The art style is cool, and it's really, they just took obviously the Battle Royale formula and they made it better. They basically took what PUBG was doing and just made it better across the board. Now, we can't seem to figure out why they dropped it, because no reason has been given at this time. But let's think about this for a second. PUBG runs on Unreal Engine 4. Well, Epic, which makes Fortnite, licensed Unreal Engine 4. So I wonder what could have happened there. I wonder if PUBG was feeling some heat from Epic, maybe implying, hey, you know, we'll revoke your license and, you know, goodbye PUBG, or if you want to rebuild it. It's hard to say. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but really at this point it's anyone's guess. It's also possible that H1Z1 was brought up, and that kind of throws the whole idea of Fortnite stealing from just PUBG when there's another game like it out there. It's hard to say, but yes, there's no more lawsuit. So there's that, I guess. A little weird turn of events. I thought they were going to try to fight them with this whole thing tooth and nail, but I guess not. I guess they backed down pretty quickly. Also, we did find out the Xbox Game Pass for July, at least the additional offerings that will be entering the library. So if you're signed up for Game Pass, which is awesome, by the way, I'd recommend it, there are some new games that are coming to the platform. Starting July 1st, you can choose from Dirt 4 Zombie Army Trilogy, ABZU Shadow Complex Remastered, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Fallout 3, Human Fall Flat, and then July 10th, Bomber Crew, and then July 11th, Warhammer Vermintide 2. I really like the idea of Dirt 4 and Shadow Complex Remastered. Shadow Complex is awesome. If you have never played it, it's a really, really good Metroidvania-style game. I think they even made it free on PC at one point, just for people to download. But there you go. If you have Game Pass, jump on there, download definitely at least Shadow Complex. I would at least get that. But hey, Dirt 4, and you got a whole bunch of other ones on there that just get added and you can download is awesome. I really like Game Pass, and I'm glad to see these games getting added. I'll be curious to see if any other games kind of sneak out the back door while people are enjoying these ones. We'll see, because they have pulled stuff from Game Pass before as they added new stuff in. We'll see if anything falls out of it. Now that we got some of the quick news out of the way, guys, let's start with Cyberpunk 2077, a game I really want to see, but we've only seen that trailer. In fact, the demo that they had was all closed door. They didn't really show it to any public or anything. It was all for press behind closed doors. And unfortunately, the reason appears to have to do with the game still being in a pre-alpha stage. In fact, it doesn't seem like anything outside of that closed demo is really ready for any type of gameplay. They specifically polished up this one part of the game to be near finished, I guess, just to show to press and show them a really cool proof of concept and what they're shooting for. Now, that could mean that this game won't be out for quite some time. WCCF Tech reported this after talking with the different people from CD Projekt Red and the other people who were essentially showing the demo. And yes, it looks like this could be a 2020, a 2021 game. This could be a cross-generation game, as in it does come out on the Xbox One and the PS4, but the version you really want is either on PC or it's on the PS5 and the Xbox 2, because that's where it'll actually run well and it won't be, 720p on the base Xbox One and struggling for those 30 frames per second. Maybe you want that 4K at 30 or 4K 60 straight up, but you need a really nice video card, or you need the PS5 or the Xbox 2. They say it's for current generation systems. They continue to say that, but I'm starting to get a little concerned about that idea. This might be a next generation game, despite them saying it's not. We'll have to see. What we do know right now, pre-alpha, don't expect it for quite some time. I expect this game to be at least at the next 2 E3s before we even get a release date. Next up, let's talk about Sony and crossplay, because they actually responded to it. They kind of had to. They were kind of cornered. See, they could put stuff out with a spokesperson, a really well typed up document that is very, very nondescript. They did that, right? Where they, instead of talking about crossplay, they just told everyone how many PS4s were out there and how many PlayStation Plus members or PlayStation Network people they have. Well, they were kind of cornered here. This was at the Game Lab conference in Spain, where Mark Cerny and Sean Layden were actually talking. They had a whole talk about the PlayStation legacy and probably kind of where they're going from here. And, a Eurogamer representative pretty much cornered them and asked about crossplay. I thought it was fascinating, you talking about PlayStation 3 flying too close to the sun. Your Icarus moment, you called it, and then PlayStation 4 coming back to be more back to basics, to be more about the players. But there seems to be an issue at the moment that Sony isn't listening to its players, or doesn't seem to be, and that's crossplay, Fortnite particularly, and I wondered if there were any plans to open up. It seems to be Sony's not listening. And then Sean Layden, who's president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment America, replied saying, "We're hearing it, we're looking at a lot of possibilities. You can imagine that the circumstances around that affect a lot more than just one game. I'm confident we'll get to a solution which will be understood and accepted by our gaming community while at the same time supporting our business." So this is an answer that is trying to get people off of their back. They're basically saying, we're looking into it. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to fix it, but they're at least looking into it. It's not the best answer, but at least they are recognizing that it exists. I guess the problem, whereas before they were kind of pretending like there was no problem, they at least are saying there's an issue here, and the issue I think they're running into is if they allow it for Fortnite, the question will then be, why don't you let it for every game, right? Why can't you do this for every game? And obviously it comes down to money. They don't necessarily want to sell something to somebody on the Nintendo platform and then they bring it over to the PlayStation platform because they didn't get any money for that. That seems to be their biggest problem. And I think that's what they're trying to work out right now. I don't think they necessarily have a problem with crossplay like as a principle. I think they have a problem with crossplay as a monetary thing. Like if money wasn't like involved with skins or anything like that and you just buy the game straight up, I don't think Sony would have a problem necessarily with it because they have the largest player base. They're going to make the most money from straight up sales. But when you get into skins and extras and stuff in the game, cosmetics, and you buy something on the Xbox and you bring it over to the PlayStation, you use it on the PlayStation without actually buying it on the PlayStation, that I think is their biggest problem. And that's where they're going to run into issues. I don't think Nintendo or Microsoft are going to give them a piece of the pie for any of this stuff, whether it's Rocket League stuff, right, or Fortnite stuff. It just isn't going to happen. So they're going to have to figure this out. And I don't know if they actually will. So someone is going to have to give in. And I feel like Sony would eventually have to, because going into the next generation, everything resets, right? And I don't think it's as big of a deal as we make it out to be online with the main public, right? Like the people out there at Walmart and stuff probably don't even know crossplay exists yet. But when they buy an Xbox and they find out they can play with their Switch friends, then they start to realize it, and then they start to ask the question as to why Sony won't allow it. There is a learning process there, and I think they will eventually get to it, especially in the year and a half to 2 years before new consoles show up. And at that point, people will be asking still if Sony has not jumped on the crossplay bandwagon. It's going to be interesting to see. I feel like Sony will eventually have to give in. It's going to be fun to watch, though. Next up, let's talk about Waluigi, a character that confuses me when it comes to fan outcry. Mostly because if I ever ask someone why they want Waluigi in a game like Smash Bros., they don't really know why. They just know they want him in there. I think there's an underdog mentality there where Waluigi's never had his own game. He kind of gets left out, and people, again, feel bad for him, and he is a very, I guess, colorful, a very loud character, right? Especially in Mario Tennis with the rose and the little feet that make the tingly noise and everything. It's a lot of fun to play as him, I will say that. In fact, Reggie actually mains him in Mario Tennis, that's right. And this was actually in an interview with Waypoint where they grilled him about Waluigi and why there has been no inclusion outside of the assist trophy in Smash Bros. And this is what Reggie had to say. So one of the good things about the way we approach E3 is when it's all said and done, we step back. We look at all of the feedback and share with the devs, and certainly Mr. Sakurai will be aware of the groundswell of support that appeared for a Waluigi. And in the end, it's his decision to make. Just like when we were getting ready to launch the Wii U and 3DS version, there was this groundswell asking for Reggie to be a playable character in the game. I think it's pretty clear that Nintendo knows that people are asking for Waluigi. They're aware of a lot more stuff that people realize on the internet, I will say that. The thing now, though, is has Sakurai been so put off by the fans and the people who've been harassing them, which is not okay, about Waluigi, is it now out of principle that Waluigi just won't be in Smash? I would like to think that because this is probably Sakurai's last Smash game, and the fans want it so badly that they would look to add him as DLC. Because if he has not already started on Waluigi, it wouldn't be ready by the time it comes out anyway. He would have already had to have been planning it out. And I would like to think that if they are going to do it, it would be DLC. It would be down the road. It might be next year, right? You know, as they go along and do a year of DLC or something for Smash Ultimate. But it's interesting to see this because I'm kind of trying to figure out where Sakurai's head is. Maybe he didn't even think about Waluigi. Now he does see this groundswell and he's like, all right, let's put it in there. Then these memes and the harassment and the craziness started online, and now he's just like, I don't even want to look at Waluigi anymore. I think the fans are doing more damage than they realize outside of just asking for him. So you can just ask for him. You don't have to put Sakurai's face and memes and stuff on all kinds of crazy stuff. There's some crazy stuff out there. Ask for Waluigi, and then kind of, leave it alone from there. Let him know you want him if you do. And then also let me know why you want him in the comments. I'm curious. Is it the underdog mentality? I think that's what it is. Our last bit of news, let's talk about Media Create sales over in Japan. These are the physical sales for last week, and it will cover Mario Tennis's first 2 days on the market. Came out Friday, so Friday, Saturday. And let's get started with the top 10. That does include, of course, Mario Tennis at the top. 123,774. That is, of course, the first 2 days on the market there. We'll see how the second week kind of pans out there. See if it sticks around. I'd like to see at least a 50% retention, so roughly 60,000 units the second week. If it does that, that's great right there. That's a good job. A new Gundam Breaker. There you go, new Gundam Breaker, PS4, 63,790. You're going to see the Minecraft Switch Edition. This is the one that has the Microsoft Game Studios and everything, that has the crossplay, basically their new initiative for it. 61,764. Wow, good for Minecraft, Nintendo, and Microsoft making that push. Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Kirby Star Allies, a lot of Nintendo stuff actually in that row right there. Fate Extella on the PS4, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and then Mario Odyssey. Moving over to the systems, Nintendo Switch, 48,944. Not a big jump, 900 units maybe from last week. A little surprising, by the way. We'll come back to that. The PS4, 20,295. Actually, a pretty sizable drop, despite having things like new Gundam Breaker. Also very weird. The 3DS, 6,812. Drop there as well. PlayStation Vita, almost 1,000 drop there, 2,163. The Xbox One, while that did drop, I'm a little surprised actually, 547 units. That's actually a sizable increase for it. I'm starting to wonder if this Minecraft stuff is doing anything for it over in Japan, because that's the only thing I can really think of right now. I mean, seriously, look at that. That's like a 1,300 unit 1,200 unit jump overall in 2 weeks. That's not normal, as you guys have been following with me for Media Creates. That is a pretty big deal right there. Mario Tennis, that's about right. That's kind of what I was thinking. 2 days, 120,000 or so. That's actually really good. I'm a little surprised that the Switch didn't increase at all, although I'm not really sure what stock is like over there, because it seems to be like somewhere between 40 and 50,000 at all times. I don't know if they are restocking them consistently, and that's why we seem capped at 50,000. A bigger release would probably push more units. Like a Pokemon, they better have units on shelves like crazy. That's going to be an insane number to watch. But overall, good week just in general for games. New Gundam Breaker did well. Minecraft did better than I thought. That's great. And then, of course, Mario Tennis, as expected, at 120,000 units. I would like to see the Switch jump over 50,000 units, and I'd like to see the PS4 try to get closer to the 30s if possible. But I guess we'll see going forward what happens here, especially as we get into the later on in the year and we see things like Pokemon show up. That'll be a lot of fun to see. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button. Really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's Sony commenting on crossplay, but not really. They're just saying they're looking into things, right? I feel like somebody is going to have to blink here somewhere, right? Sony probably will have to eventually give in, but will it be before next generation, or will it be when next generation launches? What about Waluigi? Let me know why you want him in Smash. Let me know why you want him to have his own game. I'd like to see him have his own game first and then maybe get added to Smash. We'll see about that whole situation. And then what do you think about Media Creates with Mario Tennis? Did the sale surprise you, or were you expecting more? Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.